Got a party in the backyard. Hopefully this time it fucking works. If not, I'm just not streaming. I don't give a fuck. Says I'm live. Backyard. Hopefully this time it fucking works. Says I'm live. Alright, we're live. Finally.
The amount of contracts that we can use, the like max
quick clips
contract
of
so
TJR.
again, on the evaluation.
Videos is some that helped me. We're still jump starting, and the biggest thing on it, I don't know how to actually like use all the apps. Like I started paper trading on TradingView, but
depending on what you guys are using, so if it's $150,000 account, then the
funded
maximum
accounts.
position
We're gonna be
size
running
is
a
going to
funded
be
next
15
week.
contracts, and our maximum drawdown
Tuesday or
total
Wednesday, I
is going
think.
to be
Or no, Monday.
$6,000, which
Wednesday.
is like 4%.
I will
so our max drawdown
starting up the funded
is
account.
4% on this. So if we think about it like that, it's like, okay, there's a couple thought process that you guys can go about this. If you want to treat it just because of the pricing difference. So again, if we look here on a two-step $200,000 account, right? We're putting $1,000 down. Ridiculous, but you know, risking a little bit heavier, and we have like three chances for us to pass it to get qualified for it essentially to be pretty much equivalent to what it would be on a Forex account. Or you could just say like, yo, I'm trying to budget beast this shit and just do the 239. You're really confident in the way that you trade. You don't want to,
because I don't know how to do this.
Trading is not for everyone, but if you are a trader, Plus 500 is the place for you.
Now let's say you have a prop firm. A lot of prop firms also allow you to trade directly on TradingView. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to go ahead and log out of my TradingView, and I'm going to go show you guys how to link your prop firms to TradingView. So the prop firm I like to use, and I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form, but the prop firm I like to use is My Funded Futures. So I'm just going to use that as an example. So if you're using TradingView or Tradeovate, you can just directly take the login credentials, but you have to already set it when you're creating the account. You have to choose TradingView. So once you choose TradingView, you can just come here, take the credentials, you take the username, go into TradingView, you go here, and then you go right here into Tradeovate, and then you put the corresponding credentials right there, boom, and then it's connected. So you can see everything. If you have multiple accounts, it's going to show right here. You click that and it's going to show all your accounts. Now I've linked my prop firm to TradingView. I don't even have to go on Tradeovate, because with the prop firms you get free live data, so you can just easily execute directly from. I'm gonna use one contract. So let's say I wanted to enter a sell right here. Remember, this is my prop firm account, so I don't have to do too much tweaking. So let's say I wanted to
still don't understand,
sell, and boom, I set my bracket orders. Let's say I want to set my stop loss above this high. I just go to trade and I go to stop. And let's say I want to set my take profit at this low.
I don't understand, because you can make money on a losing market. How do I make money on that?
Limit.
How do I make money on a losing market?
Limit, because I'm in a sell. And I just wait for price to do whatever it got to do, and boom. That's it. That is basically it. It is straightforward. It is so simple. I personally think it's better than MetaTrader, simply because it is user friendly, and I just naturally do all my analysis on TradingView, so it's just great that you can execute directly on TradingView. What I used to do when I traded Forex in the past is that I'll analyze on TradingView and then I'll execute on MetaTrader. But with futures, since I can directly link my broker to TradingView, it makes everything so simple. I analyze on TradingView and then I execute on.
You need to know this if you want to be a successful day.
It took me 10 years to learn this trading strategy.
Yeah.
If you found yourself on this video, you are interested in the long and short position tools on TradingView. Now these two tools are very similar, if not the same, except that one is for going long and the other is for going short. Going long, for those of you who are new, means you are buying something on the anticipation that it will go up from your buy price. Going short means you are selling something on the anticipation that it will go down. So you're betting that it will go down with the short position tool. You're betting that it will go up with the long position tool. Now we are going to click the long position tool to get started in this tutorial, and you can see right away that it is highlighted blue here. It means we've got the tool selected. Now the best part and most important starting point is to know that wherever you click now on the chart is where the trade will start. So this is how you will start to understand this tool and see the trade statistics being shown and calculated for you. So let's just say we wanted to trade Bitcoin at this exact price. You can see here it says $70,525 per Bitcoin. Well, let's hover our mouse over what is about that price on today's candle and click. And just like that, our long position tool is being shown to us. Now, this is just a default look. This is not the exact trade, because one of the best capabilities of this tool is that you can adjust your take profit target and you can adjust your stop loss just like that. And to make things even better, you can adjust the duration of the trade or just how it looks on the chart, also just like that. Then of course, if you double click on the tool, well, you've got a settings menu that will open up. In this settings menu, you can customize your account size, lot size, risk, entry price, the ticks and price for your profit level, the ticks and price for your stop level. You can even make some style changes. So if you want a certain look and feel, well, you can totally accomplish that. In fact, what we are doing right now is just making this tool a little more visible for this video. We've made our entry point line here, this white line, you just can't miss it. We've made our
this video is
color a sort of dark
TradingView,
green,
Hot Traders, use the long short position tool tutorial.
Red. We're also going to make
It's gonna help
bigger because we really want
understand
to
how to
see
make the money
these
using this, because
statistics,
like
and most importantly, how
I
these statistics
know
are shown to
I got some of
you
the strategies
when
down.
you change
I had some
something,
short
for
positions
example,
that I wanted to
like
open
your
where
stop
market
loss.
went down.
So you
I've
can see
seen
we
people make
changed
money
our
off
stop
it.
loss and
I don't know
all
if they
of
actually
the
make
key
money off
details
it, but
changed.
with the
What's
short
changed?
thing,
Well, the amount
it
money
drops.
will lose if it drops.
I don't know how
from
much
here
money
down to
I
this
can-
entry point.
I don't know how to make
What's
money
changed
doing
as
that,
well is our risk
because
reward
I've had
ratio.
two of them.
What is
I
the
set,
risk reward ratio?
they
Meaning
never went through.
if our profit target gets hit,
Because
what is
I don't understand
that
it.
amount relative
Because I didn't have
to our
any
potential
like
loss
open
down
positions
here?
then.
Well,
I didn't know if
that
it meant
is
like
all going to be calculated
I didn't want to risk
depending
money
on where you
buying
end up
here,
placing your stop loss,
flipping
and
that,
your
and then it
profit
sells
target.
down here.
But let's double click,
Even though
because
I have
there's
it
one
at
more
a
thing
take
we do
profit
want to
down
do here,
there.
and that's always show
So I don't know how
stats.
it works.
Now the reason why we want to have that on is because if you don't have that on, these stats will hide whenever your mouse isn't hovering over the long or short position tool. For this video, because it's educational in nature, we want to show you the stats at all times so you can just keep your eyes on them and watch the stats as they change. So okay, let's get back to the fact that we placed our trade right here. Well, based on where we entered this trade, and also based on where the current price action is, you can actually see on our open P&L that on this trade we're down about $30. So we are down $30 since we clicked to enter this trade. So it's important to know that your open P&L here is calculated in real time, and it's being calculated based off the current price of the symbol you're looking at in wherever you clicked to have your entry point. Now, one great aspect about this tool is that just because you put your entry point here does not mean that you have to keep it there. You can move this tool wherever you want, and that's the power of this tool to practice, to learn, to get better, is that you can visualize trades at any point on the chart. Maybe you want to wait for Bitcoin to go higher. Quite important to remind you that if you have your paper trading account connected, or for that matter, if you have any of your brokerage accounts connected, you can use this tool to really take your trading to another level. What we mean by that is, watch this. We connect our paper trading account, okay?
We'll do this real quick.
Trading.
Hop over to
We've
paper
got
trade.
Our long position tool here. Let's go ahead and right click on it. And there is a button that says create limit order on the tool. If we click create limit order, check this out. you can see here our take profit, our stop loss, limit. Here is our order ticket with all of the fine details, which we can review and study and make sure we're accurate. And then once we're ready, we can get this order on our chart. And what's so fantastic about this is that these brackets here, this trade, take profit, stop loss, limit, is mimicking the long position tool that we've placed on our chart. So you can combine the two to expand your research, your planning, and your trading capability.
That's high.
But it's important, before we really show you some more trading examples, that we first just walk through this tool in more detail so that you know how to use it from start to finish. Okay, now that we have this trade placed, let's just talk a little bit more about the capability to move your stop loss as needed or move your take profit as needed. Now these two features are ultimately going to adjust your risk-reward ratio in the middle here. So let's say you're a trader who likes to trade 3-to-1 risk-reward ratios. Well, you can see our risk-reward ratio is changing the higher we take our take profit target, because naturally it's growing relative to our stop loss. Risk-reward ratio is now 3. So we could enter here in this example, wait till it goes into here, and then take our profit, and relative to our stop loss, that's
Yeah, how do I make money
ratio.
on
And if you're a
losing?
trader, well, yep, you guessed it, you can do this over multiple trades and really get a feeling for what your strategy is and how much you're risking your trade, and really planning your trades out accordingly. Please do keep in mind, we're just going to delete this for a second here, that all of this, once again, does sort of relate to the short position tool. It's just the opposite in the sense that you are placing a short position visual showing you what the trade would look like if the symbol went down. As you can see here, our risk reward has changed. Quite a bit here has changed. So this is the basics of
We're gonna go ahead and try that.
the short position tool. Now it's time to double click and go into the settings of this tool. For starters, you already understand the capability of customizing this tool to your exact needs. You saw us always show its stats, change the entry point line, our stop color got a little darker, our target color got a little darker. Let's make the font size even bigger. In fact, let's change the font size. Well, actually, let's keep it really easy to see here, just like that. And now you're
Party
really
in the
starting
backyard.
to get an understanding of how easy it is to customize this tool. But now let's talk about the inputs, because the inputs are going to have a big sort of impact on the data you see here. So in this example, we started off really simple.
hold on.
Our account size is 100. So what that means is that our open P&L is going to be calculated based off of that account size. What we mean by that is, look at how our open P&L, we're up to $101 at the moment. Well, based on this account size, that is how our account is doing at this point in time. Now, also what's quite important here is that that is also going to impact, of course, our amounts at the take profit level or stop loss level. So if we type in 1,000, for example,
Yeah, what is lot
you can
size?
see here the amounts have changed as well. So you have got this capability to do this as needed. Your lot size, depending on the symbol that you are trading, is your lot size. It's the amount. As we know, cryptocurrencies, forex, equities, they have different ways of calculating.
Heard. No. Alright, we're gonna short position because I like the party in the backyard. Alright, so Sammy. It's my dog. Backyard. About to make a trade real quick. We're still on NDQ. I'm gonna go up here. And it already hit. But I didn't do anything with it. I don't even know how much that was. So that's just what you have to do, or like. So like I made money off it, dude. Literally, I reversed my position, fucking tanked on it. So what I'm thinking is, we throw this out here. Or you just have to add an order. What are you talking about, Bell? This thing is so annoying. It's getting in my way. It's not working. Oh, maybe that's why. Because this shit bugging. Why can't I? I forgot why I couldn't. I forgot if it was just a bug or like. partying in the backyard. There we go. Oliver, stuff is gone. I don't know why we always shoot up at open. Put it a bit right here. Go 100. 10 of them. Gonna do some do a shorter one just to see if that bit works. What is that? Throw that bitch wherever it wanna go. Okay. Or just don't even wanna do it. So I'm gonna have to manually do it. We're gonna add a take profit, stop loss, and reverse our position. Should I ever do it? Damn. It's gonna come back down. Well, let's just say I put this right here. Holy shit. Alright, well, we're behind on data, so we're just going to let this play out. Because I want to see if I can make money on the downside. That's all I'm worried about. So all this is going to be closing. It's all closing under. So did I make my money? Or like... $23,553. Oh shit. Because this is all behind right now. Like, I forgot. But yeah, we're behind like 20 minutes. Damn, I forgot what that said. So, if we just say fuck it, because it said it took it, close position, we're either going to make money or lose money. I lost money. The market's like way up here right now, bro. Fuck. I need to buy real-time shit.
Their lot size. Now our risk percentage is just that. It is our risk. What exactly is the risk that we want to place in this trade? And what's going to happen is your quantity is going to change depending on your risk relative to your account size and lot size. But let's keep it simple. Let's go to 1. Our risk is 3%. And look at our quantity now. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is $70,000 per Bitcoin. So our quantities change. But if our lot size was larger, well, could this trade even really be possible on this level of account account size with this sort of quantity is effectively 0. Let's keep our lot size
Fuck this
simple,
guy.
just at 1. Pretty simple way to follow this. Account size 1,000, risk
TTR boot camp. Yeah, baby. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Beautiful playlist. Trends. This is where we're at.
Open an account with a trusted global broker and trade cryptos and FX on an award-winning mobile app. Get instant access to charts and market news and start managing your account from your smartphone. Apply now.
Unlock the world's largest, most liquid financial market with Forex.com. Forex, or FX, involves trading one currency for another. It's a big deal with a daily turnover of $7.5 trillion. Forex markets are super liquid, ever-changing, and
Yo, what's good? Welcome to boot camp, I believe day 4 now, and today this is going to be another trading day, okay? So, we talked about candlesticks, and then we had 2 talks on discipline. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. Hopefully you guys did your homework. But today we are going to be talking about trends. We're just going to jump right into it. No reason for us to sit around, okay? I have some notes on my phone so I don't get lost in my own thoughts.
Trends.
We'll just jump right in, okay? So trends within the market. Again, you're probably going to say, oh my god, this is recap. I know we have to cover these super basic, simple shit before...
Do I have bed bugs?
But before we actually get into the difficult stuff like strategy and actually execute, okay? Because all of these little things end up being like the massive umbrella over these small things that you try and master. You try and master strategy, you try and master execution, but you don't even know where the trend's going. You can't even read a candlestick, okay? So how do you expect to perform in the market if you don't understand these simple things? So with that being said, let's talk about trends, okay? So the first point that I want to talk about, why do we even care about the trend? Because it dictates where the market is going, okay? Markets move off of momentum, okay? So once market starts trending, okay, odds are it's going to continue in that direction, okay? So what even is a trend in the first place, okay? A trend is literally, it's almost like you have a basketball on a flat surface and you just push it, right? It's going to roll and roll and roll and roll, okay? Because of that momentum that's pushing it forward, okay? Same thing with market, okay? When market gets a little push or a market structure shift, it's going to start trending, okay? So, glitching. This is why I need my PC, which is coming in like 3 weeks, but I ordered it and it's on its way. But anyways, why do we care about the trend? Because it tells us exactly where market's going, okay? So the very first thing that we need to understand is how can we spot a trend within the market? And it's honestly one of the easiest and one of the most simple things taught in day trading, okay? So when market is trending higher, okay? That was terrible, but when market is trending higher, there we go, tap on it, it moves in higher highs and higher lows, right? It'll look something like this, just with a bunch of little candlesticks in the way, and we'll show real-life examples of this on charts, but, right, this is like a very simplified version of a trend, right? This is a high, this is a low. When it pushes past this high, it makes a new high that's higher than the previous one, and it makes a new low that's higher than the previous one, okay? So higher highs and higher lows, right? Just like that, and it continues all the way until it breaks its trend, okay? So same thing with the downtrend, just the exact opposite, okay? So for downtrends, it is lower highs and lower lows. Oops. That is honestly what a chart would look like though. Okay, that was terrible. I had to do it with like my other finger, but so I don't have a mouse yet. Okay, so, right, downtrend, very similar. We have a high right here, then we make a low right here. Let's say and we had low right here, right? This low is lower than this one. This high is lower than this one, and it continues. Okay, and it's really easy to see these trends. What? Oh, oops. It's really easy to, well, you guys got the point. It's really easy to see these trends within markets. Okay. So, right, if we just go to the daily, right here, okay, we see, or this is just more recent breaking structure. We can highlight this one right here.
Bro's trying to get me on test and Anavar.
So right down over here.
I'm gonna do L-carnitine with NAD next. Cause I'm right up, bro.
Boom. What do we get?
No energy. No energy because I'm not eating.
Higher high, a higher low.
I mean, I'm like,
Boom. What do we get? A higher high,
I don't know.
Boom, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher high, now lower low because we just surpassed this. So what can we assume that market's going to do now that it broke structure? It's probably going to flip its direction, right? Let me get all these drawings off of here so it looks better. But you can see that, right, once we broke structure and changed direction of the trend, we continued that for a while, right? And now that we just broke structure, odds are we're going to start trending in the opposite direction for a little bit, okay? So, with this understanding, what can this help us do? Trends give us the overall idea of where market is going. Is it exactly how we are going to execute every single time? No, right? That's not how we're not just going to go, okay, once the high gets pushed above, we're going to enter a trade, right? That's how you can get stopped out. There's a bunch of problems with that, and we want to optimize our entry. However, the trend is pretty much telling us what direction to place our trades in, okay? Because if market is trending in one direction, why in the world, right? If market is trending to the upside, why in the world would you try and take a trade to the downside? If the momentum is pushing it to the upside, wouldn't you want to ride that wave? Wouldn't you want to, you know, be on, right? It's like if you're in a car, right? If you're in a car and you don't have a gas or a brake pedal and you want to get to a certain point, okay? There's two roads that you can take, uphill or downhill, okay? Which car are you going to get in? The one that's going uphill or downhill if you want to get to the end of that road?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Loki's starting to spit facts.
Base 40.
You're probably going to want to go downhill, right? Because the momentum will just take you there instantly. Versus if you try and go uphill, you're not going anywhere, right? It's very similar with trading in these trends, okay? You want to be able to follow this wave, okay? Follow the momentum because that's where price is going to go either way, right? There's no reason to try and catch a retracement because one, you don't know how far or how deep that retracement is. Like this, right here, we had a very small low get formed here. And this, we had a very big low. But the extension is always the same. The extension always goes past the high, right? We see the high get pushed through, high get pushed through, high get pushed through, high get pushed through. Every single time, high gets pushed through, okay? So, with that being said, wouldn't it make sense for us to follow that momentum, okay? So that is our goal. If you can identify a trend, okay, which most of you guys should be able to do that because it's a fairly beginner subject, all right? But you want to follow these overarching trends, okay? And when I say overarching trends, this is where it gets kind of tricky because people get so caught up in all these different time frames, okay? They see different trends on a bunch of different time frames, right? There could be 100 different trend switches and changes on the 15-minute over the course of this weekly uptrend that we outlined. Right, there's probably way more than that. There's probably like a couple thousand different trend switches and changes within that weekly uptrend on the 15-minute time frame. And that's where people go wrong a lot of the times. They get so caught up on these small time frames saying, oh, 15-minute broke structure, but higher time frames hold higher power. If the 4-hour is saying, no, we're bearish right now, it's going to go lower and lower and lower. But the 15-minute just broke structure. Why do we care about what the 15-minute is saying, right? We want to use the 15-minute in confluence with the higher trend. So, right, if the 4-hour, if the daily, if the weekly is telling us that market is going to go down, and the 15-minute is telling us market's going to go up, why don't we just wait for the 15-minute to tell us, okay, market's going to go down now, right? That would make sense, because then we can follow the trend of the market, okay, and then also scale down to these shorter term time frames, right? Because we know that these high time frames are going to push price in that direction, but we want an optimized entry, right? That's what I was just talking about. We want to go on these lower time frames and be able to catch the large high time frame trend moves, but with an optimized entry, okay? So that is why trends are so important. They literally help optimize your entry and help push price in the direction that you want price to go, right? Going against the trend is never smart, and this has honestly been one of my biggest struggles and issues in trading is trading against the trend and trading against my bias. I'm very good at being able to spot, okay, this is where market wants to go.
This will be the last video we watched. We're gonna
this is
ham it up real quick.
Wants to go on a high time frame. It's pretty easy to spot. However, when I get on these smaller time frames, I'm like,
this is boot camp day 4.
This could be a liquidity sweep and then a retracement. But that's the issue, right? We can't be trading off of retracements. We have to be trading off of we have to be trading off of we have to be trading off of momentum. I'm sorry, I just spaced the fuck out for a second. Okay, so trade with the trend. The trend is your friend. I know it's stupid, but it's very, very true. Okay, the trend is your friend, and you're probably going to say, well, wait, TJR, I thought you trade off of liquidity sweeps. I thought you trade off of trends changing. Yes, we do, but on lower time frames, right? We trade off of that on lower time frames. So if we see a liquidity sweep, and if we see like a liquidity sweep on the 30-minute time frame, and then a break of structure to the downside on the 5-minute time frame, and the 4-hour and the daily are saying bear, 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 that's great. That's perfect. That means that we just caught the top of the next leg down. Okay, that's why we trade that's why I trade the way that I do. Okay, so now that we understand how to read a trend, we see a liquidity sweep, and if we see like a liquidity sweep on the 30-minute time frame, and then a break of structure to the downside on the 5-minute time frame, and the 4-hour and the daily are saying bear, 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 that's great. That's on lower time frames, right? We trade off of that on lower time frames. So if we see a liquidity sweep, and if we see like a liquidity sweep on the 30-minute time frame, and then a break of structure to the downside on the 5-minute time frame, and the 4-hour and the daily are saying bear, bear, bear.
That's low-key kind of smart. Low-key spitting facts here.
We see a liquidity sweep, and if we see like a liquidity sweep on the 30-minute time frame, and then a break of structure to the downside on the 5-minute time frame, and the 4-hour and the daily are saying bear, 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 that's great. That's perfect. That means that we just caught the top of the next leg down. Okay, that's why in the daily are saying bear, 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 downside on the 5-minute time frame, and the 4-hour and the daily are saying bear, 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 bear. That's great. That's perfect. That means that we just caught the top of the next leg down. Okay, that's why we trade that's why I trade the way that I do. Okay, so now that we understand how to read a trend, how to spot them, right? So literally just higher highs and higher lows, and the next trading video will jump into break of structure, because that's going to be huge. Okay, I might even do 2 trading videos on that, because people do seem to get confused on it, which is pretty interesting, because it is a fairly simple concept to grasp, but I do want to make sure people understand it, because it is very, very important when understanding these markets and how they move and how structure shifts and how trends form and how, just markets are moving in general. Okay, so the trend is your friend. Trade with the trend, right? Obviously, it's hard for me to say at this point in the boot camp. It's hard for me to be like to get lower and lower and lower and more exact, so we can be able to match. And this just reminded me of it. It's through consolidation. Okay, there's 3 different ways that market moves. Okay, it's either through trends or just consolidation, right? Look at this. Within here, right? Okay, we see a higher high, and then we see a higher low, but right, like this is not a trend. When do we know that market's trending? If it continued higher like this, right? But no, it just stayed like this. It was stagnant. Didn't make a move until boom, right here. What happens? Okay, we're making highs. Before this break, we were going higher and higher, right? Then we chop it up. Boom, we break the floor, we break the low, we change market structure, and you'll understand that when we get to the break the structure and market structure portion. But we break the low, and then what happens? Okay, we have high right here, low right here, high right here. Boom, market structure shift. Right now, what are we in? We're in a downtrend. Okay, so what can we assume that gold's going to do, right? We came back up here. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. What's next? Probably a lower low targeting this area of liquidity, which we will get into eventually, right? But again, see how I was able to just take a very simple overarching subject and literally, like, this is some of you could be trading like this and be profitable. Don't believe me? Fucking try it. Some of you guys can trade this. Ideally, right, we don't trade this way so we get more optimized entries, right? So we can have tighter stop losses, right? So we can get higher risk reward trades. But some of you guys can trade like this. If the shit that I teach doesn't make sense to you, you can still do the basics. Okay? You can still do the basics. Alright? So there we go. We know how to identify a trend. Okay, we know that it shifts momentum within the market, it shifts market structure. Okay? And it tells us the direction that when we get to the break structure and market structure portion, but we break the low, and then what happens? Okay, we have high right here, low right here, high right here. Boom, market structure shift. Right now, what are we in? We're in a downtrend. Okay, so what can we assume that gold's going to do? Right, we came back up here. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. What's next? Probably a lower low targeting this area of liquidity, which we will get into eventually, right? But again, see how I was able to just take a very simple overarching subject and literally, like, some of you could be trading like this and be profitable. Don't believe me? Fucking try it. Some of you guys can trade this. Ideally, right, we don't trade this way so we get more optimized entries, right? So we can have tighter stop losses, right? So we can get higher risk reward trades. But some of you guys can trade like this. If the shit that I teach doesn't make sense to you, you can still do the basics. Okay? You can still do the basics. Alright? So there we go. We know how to identify a trend. Okay, we know that it shifts momentum within the market, it shifts market structure, okay? And it tells us the direction that market wants to go. Okay, we cannot be caught up. Notice how when I identified that trend, again, that trend is on like the 30-minute. Okay, but it's following this area of liquidity, which we will get into eventually. Right? But again, boom, market structure shift. Right now, what are we in? We're in a downtrend. Okay, so what can we assume that gold's going to do, right? We came back up here. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. What's next? Probably a lower low targeting this area of liquidity, which we will get into eventually. Right? But again, see how I was able to just take a very simple overarching
This guy's smart as fuck, dude.
Literally, like, high just to form another lower low, right? The daily is telling us lower, 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 lower. Perfect. So when we scale down onto a smaller time frame, we can say, okay, where does price want to go? We know on the high time frame it wants to go down. We're on a small time frame. Wouldn't it make sense for us to want to catch, you know, the big massive wave and not these little ticky tacks to the upside, right? We would want to find something that's going down. right? To continue that daily trend, right? So how are we going to do that, right? Literally just finding shorts on a small time frame, and we'll get there. We'll get to the point where we can execute. We're not there yet, okay? Because we just started, and hopefully you guys can be patient with this. But trust me, this will benefit you because I see so many people. There's a reason why you're losing in these markets, guys. There's a reason why you're losing every fucking day. Because you're not taking these basic, simple, very, very important strategies. Not even strategies, just concepts. You're throwing them out. You're going completely off of liquidity sweep, break of structure, must enter. There's a liquidity sweep and break. I could go on the 1 minute time frame and find a million liquidity sweeps and breaks of structure, all throughout in here, all in here. I could do that a million times within this, right? Some of you guys are entering off of these little ticky-tack things, and it's like, no, that isn't going to get you winning trades. That's not going to get you high probability trades. What do you think is more high probability? Taking a liquidity sweep and a break of structure off of purely 5-minute price action, off of purely a 5-minute trend, and maybe like the help and the confluence of the hourly, or understanding where price wants to go long term, maybe on the 4-hour or the daily at least, right? Because we're working with intraday price action. At least know where we're going for the day, right? Because if you don't know where price wants to go for the day, you're going to lose. If you cannot understand where price wants to go for that single day, and you are trading intraday trades, if most of your trades last a couple hours, if not a couple of minutes, you need to know where price wants to go on the day. Okay, and that's where understanding and knowing the trend matters. Okay, you have to be able to understand that. Okay, use your trend to your advantage. Okay, when looking, it's just retracement on a higher time frame. Now what's this? High, low, lower high, lower low. Okay, right? We're understanding. Okay, and then boom, right? What happens? I get to push above. Now what? Higher low, higher high, big dive. Okay, use the line chart to your advantage. Okay, like if we're looking at the 15, we scale down into this. Can tell you, right? Doesn't this look a lot simpler? To be honest, some of you guys really should be using this. Right? This makes this shit so much easier. Right? Oh, we're looking for it to hit equilibrium. Let's not get caught up in all the candlesticks. Okay, perfect. We're in a premium right now. Now what are we looking for? Okay, we're looking for a trend shift on the 5-minute. Okay, or the 15-minute, whatever you want. Okay, we're just waiting for these lows to get pushed down below. Right, we're doing this, we're chopping up, we're consolidating right now because this was from Friday, right? Market just ended. It needs some volume to come in today because today is Sunday during Asian session, during Asian session and London session. And then once New York session kicks in, we'll be able to understand where price wants to go from there. But some of you guys could really benefit from taking out the color of the candlesticks, okay, and just identifying, right, where's price going? It's super easy just to zoom out on a high time frame and just look. Where was market going? Down. So why in the world would you want to look for longs in this? We're looking for shorts. Notice how, right, the moves higher are always smaller than the moves lower. The moves higher are always smaller than the moves lower. If you measure it in every single trend, because that's how trend works, right? That's how trends work. Lower highs, lower lows. The lows are always lower than the previous ones. The highs are always lower than the right? Where do you think price is going to go for the week? Perfect. You understand? Where is price going to go today? And then, if you are capable, if you already days, because you can make an accurate prediction on the week, but does that mean you'll be able to be accurate on these lower time frames? You know? Okay, so where does it want to go in the week? Where is the draw of liquidity? And we'll talk about that sooner or later, okay, eventually, right? we just need to cover these super simple things first. Okay, where does price want to go in the week? Where does price want to go in the next couple days? And then where does price want to go today? Where is price going to go today? And then if you are capable, if you already know my strategy, if you already know how to trade, draft up a trade based off of those biases. And it only has to be just one trade, okay? Right? Where do you think price is going to go for the week? Perfect. Do you understand that bias? Now, where is price going to go the next couple days? Perfect. Do you understand that bias? Okay. Where is price going currently? Where is price going currently, right? Everything on gold says it's going to go down, but currently price is going up. So what's it giving us an opportunity to do? Find an area in which we can go short. Okay, so we're going to look for an opportunity to predict, to project where price wants to go. I don't even want you to draft up a trade. I don't want you to have a stop loss. I don't even want you to set up this position thing on it. I literally just want you to use the forecast tool, drag it from wherever price is at right now, and show where price wants to go. Just like that. Just like that. And it's okay if price goes a little bit higher and then fulfills your targets, okay, because at least you knew where price wanted to go, right? The execution will come later, and we'll talk about when we know when price is going to change direction in the market. But this is a great step, and this is a great learning point. Okay, do this on 1 or 2 pairs, right? Okay, so that being said, let's get to work, all right? Do your homework. Where is price going? It's going fucking up. Okay, where is price going? It's going down. Okay,
all right,
where is
well,
price going? It's going
day 4 TJR boot camp over.
You don't even have to in your head. Where's the higher high?
Oh Lord.
Market going. Right? It's as simple as that. And we'll get to execution later. Okay? So with that being said, get your fucking homework done right after you watch
We're gonna go
this video. Okay.
What is day 5? Goal setting. We're gonna skip day 6 next video. Probably stream again tonight. Depending on, we'll figure it out. But we're gonna go over the most important videos: goal setting, discipline, all that. You can't just give that to people. Not everyone's gonna understand it. So you guys gotta understand that on your own time. But that's day 4 boot camp. Watch how to do funded accounts. Monday, Wednesday, this upcoming, going to be hopping into the funded account, live trading a little bit of funded. So, yeah, hopefully you guys gain a little bit from this. Gonna do a video on a little bit of background and jumping up. I mean, we could even do it here. Work a 40-hour job, 19. I messed around with basic stocks, options trading, all that. Don't like doing it on the phone. Went and bought a PC. I bought a whole PC just so I could start day trading. Playing a couple of games too, obviously, because I clearly game a lot. Stream, everything. I want you guys to join me on this roll. It's 12:40 p.m. I'm actually going to clock into work soon so I can make money to play with, because when you're jumping into futures trading, you definitely got to bring thousands. You don't want to bring only a little bit. So anything else I can think of? Just gonna be going over how to start making these 5 figures, because it really isn't that hard. 5 figures a day, not uncalled for. Even if you only make $400, $500 a day, people are making that weekly. People make that weekly. I was making that weekly. Landscaping, I barely made more than that. Slaving. So hopefully this can make some of you want to do better. And we're going to jump in next week trying to make some money. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching with me, watching these important ones. And I'll probably make a playlist of what videos you guys should watch, or at least help me. Thanks for joining. Subscribe to Boosted TRT. Follow us on Twitch for all the gaming. Actual gym content will be coming once I start pinning a little more, probably, because I have been low on energy, so I don't really want to do much stuff. So we're throwing some other PEDs, steroids into the mix.